Good morning. Thank you for joining us for today's Jesus Said. My name is Jesus Gonzalez, and I will be doing the Jesus Said for today. Today's Jesus Said is don't lust. So the Jesus Said is a 5-minute soundbite about something Jesus said. As we go through this, it'll be kind of just understanding a little bit more about what Jesus said and what it really means to us and how we can apply it to our lives. So today's Jesus Said will be from Matthew 5:27 through 30. He says in verse 27, "You've heard the commandment that says, 'You must not commit adultery.' But I say, anyone who even looks at a woman with lust has already committed adultery with her in his heart. So if your eye, even your good eye, causes you to lust, gouge it out and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to be thrown into hell." Wow, so reading this is heavy. God is bringing up the commandment that says you must not commit adultery, which is a commandment that is part of the 10. And that's one that I think most people would be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I get that part. Doesn't have any kind of mystery to it. It's kind of straightforward. But Jesus says anyone who even looks at a woman has already committed adultery with her in her heart. And then he goes on to even say, if this is even happening to you, it's so bad that you should actually take out your eye so that way you don't have this sin problem anymore and throw it away, because it's better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to be thrown to hell. So wow, I think about that and man, that's crazy. Like what is Jesus really trying to say to us? So to give some context, let's go to Matthew 5:17 through 19. Starting at 17, he says, "Don't misunderstand why I have come. I have not come to abolish the law of Moses or the writings of the prophets. No, I came to accomplish their purpose. I tell you the truth. Until heaven and earth disappear, not even the smallest detail of God's law will disappear until its purpose is achieved. So if you ignore the least commandment and teach others to do the same, you will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But anyone who obeys God's law and teaches them will be called great in the kingdom of heaven." So what Jesus is saying is he didn't come to change the law or to make some parts of it null and void. No, he came to actually fill up the law, to bring its true purpose to our understanding. So it's more than a checklist of the kinds of sexuality that are not permitted. It's not even necessarily about the adultery. It's not about that action. What he's saying, it's actually to the heart of the matter. Like, what's the heart issue here? And lust is the problem, not the sex. To lust after, to covet, seeking something that is forbidden to you. And when you do that, again, Jesus is saying, look, I know that this is an issue. I know that this is a real problem. But what's the real issue? And I think that's what Jesus really did. With everything he taught, everything he would always bring about as far as teaching of the law, he would always bring in that deeper understanding of this is what you've always understood something to mean. But this is what it really means. And again, even with these verses, he's not saying that that commandment doesn't matter, like that you must not commit adultery. He's not saying that that's like irrelevant to the time. No, he's saying that more than what this means, I'm going to tell you what it really means, that it's not just what you do, it's what you're thinking, who you are, like what's inside you. And this is what Jesus is saying really matters. But then it's also the fact that our feelings and our desires are not our identity. These are temporary things. And society has that upside down. What we want is most important. That's what people think, and that's what they try to pursue. So then what that is, again, it's just feeding that inside of you that wants something that doesn't belong to you. But then Jesus comes in and he reveals to us that denying ourselves is how we experience our real identity. Who were we created to be? Like Jesus. His righteousness, not ours. And that's the hard part, is really just letting God really work in you and change your heart, change your mind. I think about, for me personally, things that I've gone through in my life, and when I get down to the root of that problem, realizing it wasn't even necessarily the problem or the action or whatever the case may have been. It was always my heart, like what was causing me to do this. Anytime I would have sin or anger or whatever the case may be, it was always came back to my heart. And that's what Jesus is really attacking here. He's saying there's something wrong with your intention, not just the action. It's what's going on inside you that's making you do this. And that's what Jesus is always confronting. He's confronting the part of us that wants to be changed, or that needs to be changed, sorry. And that's why I believe that when Jesus says that you are a new creation in Christ Jesus, behold, that old things have passed away and all things have been made new. A big part of that's our heart. A big part of that's what's inside of us. And it's the parts that a lot of people don't see. But if we can't fix those inside things, then the outside things, which people can see, are going to be the things that bring us down. So therefore, what is Jesus trying to say to us today, and how can we put that into action? Jesus said, don't lust. And more than that, he's saying, don't want things that don't belong to you. Don't have a desire for something that isn't yours. And check your heart. More than you need to check your actions, check your heart. See what's leading you to have these actions. See what's leading you to do these things or think the things that you think. And if you can get control of that with the help of God, with Jesus showing us that denying ourselves is how we experience that real identity and righteousness in his, then that's what we need to change. Change the inside. So how can we put that into action today? Ask yourself that. What can I change about me on the inside that's affecting my outside? How can I change some part of my intentions? And more than that, like, help me, God, to recognize that. So keep that in mind today as you go through your day. Think about what your real intention is. Think about what is motivation, or what your motivation is, and ask God to reveal the things that are against him, and see how much that changes your life. See how much it changes not just that moment, but every moment. And don't forget, guys, that if you appreciate the Jesus Said, to like, comment. It helps get the word out. And as we always say, love first. And when you do that, think about what Jesus is saying and how you can put into action today what Jesus said. Don't lust. Thank you.